AI gave software engineers superpowers to 100x their output. And as AI models become better, the GTM engineer was born to rethink how companies bring products to market faster and cheaper. And now comes the hardest part, getting AI into production inside real companies, with real workflows and real constraints. That's where the forward-deployed engineer comes in. I'm Alex Lindahl. I was one of the first GTM engineers at Clay, and right now I'm helping to build Clay's own FDE team. I've spent the last year inside enterprise companies building these AI systems firsthand. And here's what that experience actually taught me. The model isn't the bottleneck, the implementation is. So in this video, I'm walking you through what an FDE actually is, where the role came from, what these engineers do day to day, and what it means for your go-to-market. And it'll also show you exactly how we're running this at Clay. But first, let me explain the core problem the FDE was built to solve. I call this the last mile problem. And the FDE is basically the proven solution for it. Companies assume that when you buy an AI product, the hard part is the AI tech. But from my experience, the hard part is everything that happens afterwards, when the AI has to touch your actual data and your actual workflows. And A16Z put it perfectly. Enterprises buying AI are like your grandma getting an iPhone. She wants to use it, she just needs someone to set it up. So the FDE is that person, not a consultant who hands over a slide deck, not a support ticket that gets resolved in 72 hours. An engineer living inside the customer environment, who's building, watching, and fixing in real time. And here's where it gets interesting, because this model didn't come from Silicon Valley. It came from somewhere far more unusual, and it was built to solve a specific problem. Back in 2001, the US intelligence community had more data than it had ever collected. It had world-class analysts. What it did not have was a way to make those two things talk to each other. The CIA had its systems, the NSA had its systems, the FBI had its systems, and none of them could see what the others were seeing. So Palantir was founded to solve exactly that problem, but they hit a wall immediately, a wall that shaped everything they built after it. The problem was they didn't know any spies for the agency. And even if they did, those individuals couldn't disclose the details of their work. There were no requirements documents, no user interviews, no feedback loops. Traditional product development was completely useless. So Palantir did something nobody else was doing. Instead of asking customers what they wanted, they put engineers directly inside customer environments. The engineers learn by doing, observing, experimenting, and building in real time. That decision created the FDE model, which is wild when you think about it. And the name actually came from the military itself, Forward Deployed Forces. What started as a necessity inside classified government agencies has become one of the fastest growing engineering roles in tech. And the numbers show exactly that. What we're going to do is we're going to start by finding jobs, because basically what we want to do is find open jobs for the forward deployed engineer. So we want job titles that include, guess it, forward deployed engineer. So now we have a table with all the 6,000 job openings. And when we do this, what we ultimately want to do is find the unique number of companies hiring. So we can go down here and actually we'll do the dedupe on the company name. So now this will eliminate almost 5,000 rows, and the result will be unique companies that are hiring for the forward deployed engineer. We have companies like Workato, C3, Happy Robot, 10X, Adobe, and we have a number of different data in here already, location, company name, but let's actually get additional information on the company so we can break this out into different statistics on what size of companies are hiring. So what I'm doing here is I'm enriching the company by the domain, and then we can find all this other additional information such as country, when the company was founded, location, is it private or public. Now when we run this, we'll run 10 rows first. I always run 10 rows first just to make sure the output is what I expected. So especially when you're running an AI agent, you want to see what the output is on 10 rows before you run, say, like 1,000 rows. And that helps you prevent and save credits. Okay, so now we have some more information here. Looks good, so I'm going to run it for the rest of the companies. We have a little over 1,200 companies that are hiring right now for a forward deployed engineer. And by the way, this same job posting data works for your own pipeline. I have a free Clay template that runs exactly this. You drop in a list of the company domains and out pops all their open jobs and recent news. Then AI turns those signals into natural one-line icebreakers for every account. It's free, the link's in the description, go grab it, have fun with it, but let's get back to the video. Now we can go to Sculptor. Now Sculptor is our agent that can do two things. One is you can input natural language to tell it what you want to build, and it'll go off and build a table or columns for you. But what I like to do is actually go to the analyze mode, and this allows you to layer AI on top of this entire data set. So we can do things like give me a statistical analysis of the salary and size of companies that are hiring a forward deployed engineer. So now what AI is doing is it's analyzing all of this data, and then it's going to give me a analysis of what it says. Okay, so we just pulled job openings for forward deployed engineers at Google, OpenAI, and Salesforce. Okay, now the next thing we can do is take the LinkedIn URL and we can create an agent that analyzes the job posting for the jobs to be done. So one prompting technique here is just defining what the output should look like, so then we can use it in a more structured way. So now we have a basic prompt, and we're going to use AI to actually generate a more complete prompt for this research. Now what the agent is doing is it's going to the website or the job posting, reading through that job posting, and then parsing out what are the jobs to be done and what are the technologies that are mentioned. And what we get back here is reasoning of what it did, kind of like why it output and how it came to the conclusions. It gives us the jobs to be done, the technologies, and then one nice trick here is it shows the steps that the agent took. This helps with debugging if you're not getting the expected outputs. Obviously, it's just going to one URL here, but for other agents, it could have multiple different steps. Let's dive into some of these jobs to be done to see what these companies are looking for. Codify repeatable deployment patterns and drive insights to product and engineering. Re-engineer isolated agents. Improve engineering velocity and business outcomes, and then translate ambiguous business ambitions into standardized technical roadmaps. So that is one of the challenges with working with customers and deploying AI, is that sometimes they have an idea of like what they want or an outcome that they want, but it's challenging for them to actually articulate what that is and how to get there. So we help them with our forward deployed engineers to figure out what outcomes they're looking for, what are the use cases to kind of map to achieving those outcomes, and then building a roadmap that shows how we get there step by step in terms of building the tables, the workflows, and the agents that support it. Okay, let's take another one here. Develop complex AI applications, provide white glove deployment of those complex AI systems. And here we're seeing it show up again, transform field insights into product roadmap feedback. So again, the part of the job of the FDE is not only to help deploy AI successfully into companies, but it's also to bring all of the insights from those customer deployments back into the product to improve the product much faster. And let's get a breakdown of all the technologies that are used. So again, we're using Sculptor to run AI across the entire data set, all of the data and all of the different columns. Now we have an analysis, and let's open up the doc to see what that looks like. Cool, so some of these, Python, very predominant. Obviously Google, because the job is to work at Google. Vertex AI, Gemini, that's Google's model, LangGraph, Crew AI, MCP shows up quite a bit, RAG, so on. Let's dive a little deeper into the salaries of what these companies are offering. And what we should see here is we have 5 different bands of company size. So startup, early growth, mid-market, late stage, and enterprise. And then we have the different salary ranges for the minimum starting point and then also the max starting point. The minimum really starts around, I would say like 80 to like 150. And the max ends around like 250. So naturally, the enterprise companies are paying a lot more for their FDEs compared to the startup. But what's interesting is that, it's not only startups or early growth companies that are hiring. We really have a spectrum of companies that are hiring this role. Okay, another question to ask is this happening just in the US or is it happening around the world? So let's pull another analysis on that. Great. Okay, so we have some findings. Obviously, United States is close to 60%, followed by UK, 10%. So there's a pretty big drop-off between 60 and 10%, and then another pretty big drop-off from the other countries. Okay, so diving into the data a little bit more, let's look at the technical landscape that these job postings require. So the technical requirements reveal a standardization around modern stack fundamentals, Python, TypeScript, 55%, REST APIs 50%, 40% AI LLM requirement. They're not only asking engineers to deploy software, they're asking them to implement retrieval augmented generation, tune prompts in production, and debug agentic workflows at customer sites. And then if we kind of look at this in terms of the responsibilities, they kind of cluster in 3 different motions. So one is building customer-specific integrations. That's 40% of openings. Second is translating business requirements into technical architecture, it's 30%, and then owning end-to-end delivery, 25%. Now here's the piece that Emergence Capital identified that I think is the most underrated part of this entire job. Most companies think they've documented their business logic in SOPs and process guides. But those documents are, and this is their phrase, not mine, static, incomplete, and often wildly outdated. I mean, think about what that means for an AI system trying to do real work. AI systems need to internalize how work actually gets done, not the ideal version of it. The FDE's job is to extract that real-world knowledge directly on site by watching how live production actually works. So here's what we're actually doing at Clay. And I want to be specific because I think people underestimate how hands-on this is. Basically, our GTM engineers are doing 5 things for every customer. First, they take the customer's business context, their workflows, their goals, and turn it into actual working Clay builds. Second, they're building the GTM infrastructure directly inside Clay. Outbound sequences, enrichment workflows, lead scoring, agentic-powered research flows, all of it running inside the product. Third, they integrate Clay with everything the customer is already running. Their CRM, their internal tooling, their data warehouse, whatever. Clay has it fit into how the company actually operates, not the other way around. Fourth, and this one is underrated, they bring all of the field intelligence back to our product team. Every deployment is a proving ground. When something breaks or a customer finds a workaround we never built for, that's a product insight. It feeds directly back into what we ship next. And fifth, they're building agents and tuning prompts, writing the prompts that make Clay's AI columns actually perform, debugging the outputs, and iterating until the results are good enough to run on their own. Now, I'll live this myself. In Q1, I was embedded with a couple of customers, spending roughly an hour a day with one of them for several weeks straight. And by the way, that level of investment changed everything. The relationship got stronger, the Clay deployment went deeper. I got introduced to teams and stakeholders I would have never reached through a normal CSM call. And we built a whole roadmap of use cases we never would have found otherwise. That's the model, and it's the reason we're betting on it at Clay. Now, let me zoom back out for a second, because I want to leave you with what I think all of this actually means. Every AI product is only as good as its deployment, and the FDE is the role that closes the gap between what AI can do and what it actually does inside a real company. And if you want more content like this on GTM Engineering, what we're building at Clay, and where this whole field is heading, subscribe. I also put out a weekly newsletter with over 7,000 GTM operators, founders, and investors already inside. Link is in the description.